Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth match of the evening. I'm Ruckus Cat, and I've got Alexi sitting across from me, and we're gonna walk you through Clevergirls versus Team Pretty. Clevergirls have warped in almost all at zero. They've got their Raven, Cyclone, and Slasher all at zero. They've got their Osprey at a healthy 20 kilometers, and the Talwar at the maximum 50 kilometers.
Across from them, we're seeing Team Pretty have come in all in a ball about 50 kilometers. We're going to have the match kicking off soon, and we're expecting to see that tight little wall of Cyclone, Raven, and Slasher going straight in for tackle, are we not?
Yeah, that sounds about right. The Raven's pretty short range with the torpedo launchers, and although the Team Pretty team is pretty brawly, so I'm not sure if going all in against them, particularly against the Armageddon's newts, will be the best decision. Also interesting is that the Talwar warped in at max range, I think expecting to be pretty far away, but their warp in angles, which are random, ended up being almost a right angle. So he's still not entirely out of the danger zone.
And we see that Armageddon has dropped sentries, and the tactic we've seen before can drop down a lot of damage as the Team Pretty team is backing away. They're trying to keep range here, and we see newts thrown onto that Slasher, probably one of the best ways they have of shutting it down.
And you certainly called it. The Raven and Cyclone are burning directly in, trying to score tackle, and the Slasher's right there with him. Looks like they're going on the Armageddon.
But that Slasher is taking a lot of damage. Those newts taking their toll, shutting down its prop mod, and it's going to be sitting still while it gets beaten up. Good job coming from Brett Thomas in the Osprey, though, keeping it alive for now.
Yeah,
That's
he's fully in range in that Osprey, giving him everything he's got, but the Slasher just doesn't have a whole lot of hit points to play with, and he's dipping down into armor and back. Meanwhile, the Armageddon is at about half armor and pulling his way back, but not very quickly either. So, boy, that'd be an interesting trade, a Slasher for an Armageddon.
It would be a very good trade if they can get it, and that's what we saw from Tasman Thorn, the captain burning in his Cyclone, got the tackle on Cyrix Armageddon, and they've been laying damage on it ever since. It's been painted up by that Raven, not sure as a battleship it needs it, but it's going to be laying so much damage into it, and we're seeing it take its toll here.
Well, it's possible the Raven's using rage torpedoes, which the fit got changed. I think it might have been rapid heavy in the preseason, but it's torpedo now. And that's rage torpedoes will do a ton of damage to a battleship, but they don't do full damage to a battleship unless you paint it.
Going the other way, we've seen Team Pretty have shifted their focus onto the Raven of Clevergirls, and they've nearly taken out the shields now. Raven's just got buffer tank and it's bleeding armor now. That's been a very good call rather than trying to sink damage into that Slasher to no effect.
Yeah, they're both. The Armageddon now is at about 25% structure, and the Raven is at about 75. And we'll see which one drops first. The Armageddon now down, which takes the main source of damage off of the Raven, and we'll see if he can claw his way back into health.
Indeed, that Raven, you got to check whether or not it's tackled, because it could be trying to micro jump drive to freedom. We've seen that before, but the Atron has it shut down entirely.
Yep, and looks like the Raven has switched onto the Prophecy, which is the next largest target, the next most prime to be hit with torpedoes. But it's significantly smaller than an Armageddon, and I imagine he'll have a lot harder time killing the Prophecy with its smaller sig radius and its heavier tank to boot. Meanwhile, that tank has really not made any substantial progress clawing its way back. He's down about 10% structure now and slowly dipping.
I'm surprised he's held on so long. It's real credit. We're potentially seeing heated hardeners, heated reps coming in on him. He's not going to be able to do this for long, and there he is. He's dropping out now. Back to even, both battleships down, but Clevergirls have a head start into that Prophecy.
Yeah, they sure do, but like I mentioned, the Prophecy's got that the passive resistance bonus that makes it a lot more difficult to kill, and the Cyclone doesn't. It's got a local active tank bonus and an ancillary booster, I believe.
That Prophecy has managed to break away entirely. So has the Cyclone, in fact. We've not got tackle on these primaries, and we see damage shifting over onto the Atron, potentially something they can hit harder, at least because it's closer.
Possibly. It looks like the Cyclone's chasing the Augurer, to try and get tackle no logi. That'll be with the Team Pretty team here. That'll be the key, is getting rid of the augur so that they can knock off their reps. And with the Geddon down there, there'll be a significant lack of rep bots to keep the augur alive if they can get it locked down.
And
Meanwhile,
here we
Brett
see,
Thomas Osprey now taking damage, hitting into armor.
but the slasher has grabbed that augur. They're going to be able to get damage on it soon. It's dual prop, of course. You can micro drive away, and that's what was keeping it free for so long from the AB frigate chasing it. But it's not kept it away long enough.
And that's the Osprey now, pretty well tackled by the Team Pretty Dragoon and dipping into armor. It's got an extra large ancillary booster to keep itself alive, and it's got some light shield or medium shield bots now also, and lights on it, helping its local tank. But once those ancillary charges run out, he'll pretty much be dead to rights.
You've also got the Prophecy coming in to get heavier tackle on it. You've got to think that this Osprey's not going to last long once both of those are on top of it. He's not going to have cap. He's going to lose that hardener potentially, unless he's injecting incredibly well. But these are some very skilled pilots, so he's going to be trying to manage that the best he can.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I've counted 5 or 6 boosts from him, and now he's dipping into hull. Imagine that Osprey's done pretty soon here, and the Cyclone and the Talwar haven't made any significant progress on the Agora. This is not looking good for Clevergirls.
Indeed, that augur, in fact, breaking away again potentially with that slasher peeling off to help its Cyclone. So that augur's untackled and probably going to be able to get free and safe from here.
Yep, that's what it looks like. And the meanwhile, the Clevergirls Cyclone has gotten himself well tackled. And there are now damage drones flowing in onto him. Got some hammerheads, got some acolytes. And I don't imagine he's been able to get an ancillary reload off since earlier when he was shot a little bit.
And now we see the Dragoon coming in as well, trying to shut down that Slasher. Got a question bringing the Slasher over to try and peel off the Atron. It's got no kit to do that. And in terms of DPS to try and kill that Atron, the Slasher is fairly anemic. It's, well, like most of the frigates, it just doesn't punch as hard as these bigger ships.
Interestingly, as the Slasher goes down, the Slasher actually does less DPS than the Atron, the other afterburning frigate, which is armor tank.
Indeed. Well, we see the power of the Dragoon, the only real way you can shut down those afterburning frigates. And it's done it to great effect a couple of times this match already. Well, it's got no more afterburning frigate to shut down.
Now the Clevergirls Cyclone seems to be the main focus. Got drones drifting in onto him and his shield slowly dipping. At the same time, though, Liquid Ninja and the Talwar is out there at range, and he may be having some success shooting at those drones with his missiles. We'll see. I don't know if it'll be enough to keep the Cyclone alive, though. Yeah, those drones are definitely taking a beating.
We see that Talwar trying to keep safe. It can potentially outpace almost anything left on that Pretty team when it needs to, because it's only going to be a matter of time now with this Cyclone. It's got so much new pressure on it. Each of those boosts just isn't going to be having the same effect as it could be with... It's going to be struggling to keep its hardness on. It's going to have so much DPS on it, and that's an XLASB. It's only got a finite number of charges.
I'm just watching the Talwar here. I've clicked look at on him. I'm just watching him remove the drones from the Cyclone one by one. Every volley, he's taken out another drone, and it's pretty slow going. The Talwar's volley speed isn't very quick, but the Cyclone seems to have clawed his way back, and his tank's pretty stable now in the upper half of shield.
The Cyclone itself, we're seeing shooting against those drones as well. They really are focusing on this strategy to try and clear them out. And so far it seems to be paying dividend, and that drone ball is certainly getting smaller.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really the backbone of the team. Pretty damaged. If they can remove all those drones, there's really nothing stopping them from staying alive and tanking. There's less than 2 minutes left on the clock now. Not that they need to tank until the match ends, because they already cleared the battleship off of Team Pretty, so they don't need to protect themselves against the domination victory. But
they've still got points to protect, and that points difference, especially for a team in Clevergirls' position can very much come into play towards the end of the day in the tables.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got two-way ties currently on the board, and to settle up a points tie, we go by ships destroyed points. So that
Yes,
is, you're right there. That's another consideration to be worried about.
we see the Augur actually just pulling further and further away from this fight as time goes by. Surprisingly, he's not making any particular effort to try and protect the drones of his team, something he, of course, can do. Those reps he has aren't limited, and we've seen before trying to protect your team's drones and so their DPS from that logistics role. But that Cyclone is getting very low. We haven't seen him boost for a while, I don't think. And is he going to get through reload? Is he going to need to?
The match is timed out. The match is over, and Team Pretty wins with 9 points to Clever Girls' 5. And with that, we'll throw it back to the studio.